Good morning, besties and bosses. How are you doing? We are back for day 2. I'm hopping on for 3 days to be of service to you, to support you through everything that's going on right now from a mindset and business perspective. Today is day 2 of managing your mind to manage your business during challenging times, aka right now. Obviously, I cannot speak to anything health related, but a lot of what I can speak to is the importance of managing your mind and managing your business. And hey, whoever's just joining, we're just getting started. So say hello, and same if you're watching on the replay, say hello. Let me know if you have questions or anything you want me to address while we're chatting about this. And if you have any questions, even if we don't address it today or tomorrow morning, I'll be on tomorrow at 8 a.m. as well. I can always hop on and do another live next week. I want to make sure that I am a resource to all of you and that I am here to support all of you while we are all going through this together. One thing I know for sure, and this is what I want to chat about today, is that we are all, you, me, all of us are so resilient, and we're so much more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. And what I think is really important for all of us right now is to cultivate our resilience. Resilience is a trait. It is a mindset trait. It is a mindset state that we can absolutely cultivate. And during challenging times, it is a beautiful opportunity to strengthen our resilience and to really lean into that resilience. And so today, what I want to chat about are 3 different mindsets that I have found to be really powerful in helping build that resilience. So many of you know I shared this with the group not too long ago. I lost my father earlier this year, and before I lost him for a year, I was going home and supporting him as he had cancer, and so we were going through the treatment process, and then as he was passing through that process with hospice. Obviously, that was a challenging time, and I was still running a business, supporting my family, running a team, and doing very well in my business, consistent 5-figure months, and my clients were doing really, really well. The reason I share that is what I'm going to share today is I have 3 mindsets that I cultivated during that time to really build up my resilience, to make it easier for me to move through that challenging time, that I find are absolutely applicable to what we're all going through right now, that I think can support you. And so I want to lend them to you so you can borrow those. Let me know if you have any questions. And then tomorrow we'll chat about, I think I have 2 more that we'll chat about tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. All right, so say hi. Let me know if these are making sense. And let me know too, as you're watching now and on the replay, how you're doing, how you're feeling. Yesterday on day 1, one of the things, and I'll just repeat it here before we dive in, feels really important to remind everyone, is there are no bad emotions. It is okay whatever you're feeling. This is a challenging time. Now is not the time to make yourself wrong if you are feeling stressed emotionally. So there are no wrong emotions. You're doing it right. And so everything I'm offering over yesterday, today, tomorrow is really to help you strengthen your mindset, to help you cultivate that resilience, to help you manage your mind. Because what I do know to be true is those of us who are able to manage our mind, who are able to navigate this situation, who are able to lean into our resilience, we are going to be able to manage our business. We're going to be able to show up in our marketing. We're going to be able to show up in our messaging. We're going to be able to show up in service for our clients. And those are going to be the entrepreneurs who really come out of this 3 months from now, 6 months from now, thriving and successful. And we are also lucky, you all, that we have that opportunity as online business owners. So that is why now, it's always so important to manage your mind. This isn't a coronavirus specific conversation, but more now than ever. So important to be doing this work. Okay. And let me know if this is all resonating. So the first mindset here that really supported me when I was going through that challenging time with my family, and what's really supporting me now and that I'm talking to my clients about a lot, is the idea of acceptance and detachment. Now, I know these sound like 2 completely different things, so I want to break them down because they are part of the same parcel, and it is a really powerful mindset that's going to help with your resilience right now. And what's really great about this concept is it's not specific to now. Like, this is a always and forever in business and in life concept that is really, really, really game-changing. So I don't know how many of you know the AA Serenity Prayer. I think this will help describe it a little bit. Part of the serenity prayer is, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That kind of summarizes what acceptance and detachment is. What I find happens for so many of us when we're going through challenging times is we almost have the serenity prayer reversed. We almost have, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. That is acceptance. there are things going on right now that we cannot change. There are things going on that we, maybe there's someone else who can change it, but that we don't have the power to change. And the mindset of acceptance is going to vastly help you to manage your mind and to help you control and to show up for the things you can change. However, what happens when we are in stressful situations? We are controlling individuals. We get into our self-protective mode. I think some of what we go through can almost mimic the symptom, the process of grief, which has you going through denial and anger and bargaining and that depression, and before you hit acceptance. So if you're feeling some of that, again, we're normalizing that, completely normal. You can look up what the grief process is. You might be experiencing some of that in the mind. But what this has us do is we are then trying to latch on and control the things we cannot change. So in a situation like this, what ends up taking up a lot of our brain space and a lot of our mindset and a lot of our, if this is what's occupying our mind, we can then not focus on our businesses from a clear, grounded place, from that neutral place, is we are focusing and obsessing over the things we cannot change right now. I'm in New York City. I cannot change what's happening in New York City. I can do my best to be socially responsible and not make it worse. Those are the things I can change, but I can't change the situation I'm in New York City. I cannot change that I have to be socially isolated right now, unless I'm an asshole who isn't socially responsible. I can't change that, right? And what I'm finding, and especially for some of my clients when we're having these conversations and we're working through this, is there is such a want to obsess over, but I can't change that. I can't change it, but I'm going to keep watching the news, and I'm going to keep obsessing, and I'm going to keep getting angry, and I'm going to keep getting mad at the things I can't change. Megan, good morning. I love the Serenity Prayer, she says. It is such a powerful one. All of you, this is AA, whether you're religious, whether you're not. AA, what I think is great about them is it's a power that's greater than you that you're praying to, so it's not necessarily a God of any specific religion. So if any of you, I think right now, that prayer every day to whatever you believe in can be really, really powerful. Because again, what it's doing is it's helping us shift out of this obsession and this want to control a situation that we can't control. And as long as we're focused on what we focus on expands, right? Whatever we put our mind onto, that is what we're gonna, that's what our brain's gonna obsess over, that's what our mind's gonna obsess over. That's then how we're going to show up in our businesses. That's the energy we're gonna bring into our businesses, or that we're not gonna bring into our business because we don't have the mental capacity to, because we are so obsessively trying to control a situation we can't change. And so this is where acceptance, and I know this is easier said than done, y'all, this is why we do the work with coaches, right? This is why I still have a coach. I am not saying this is easy, but this is a mindset I really want to invite all of you to start leaning into and adopting. Go through the grief process, feel the denial, feel the anger, go through the bargaining, go through I don't want you to feel depressed, but go through that depressive feeling so that you can get to acceptance. But what I want to invite you to do is to start moving through it consciously, because that's how, when we're managing our mind and going through this consciously, instead of from that subconscious, unconscious place, we're able to move through things a lot faster and easier with a lot less resistance. And so I want to invite you all to move to the place where you're into that, cultivating that acceptance, because when we can accept the things we cannot change, we can accept the situation we're all in from such a different mindset. We can start to manage our minds and cultivate the thoughts we want that are going to allow us then, if we shift to the second part of the Serenity Prayer, to start to change the things I can. We can then start to look at, okay, if I'm accepting this is what life is handing right now. These are the circumstances. Here are all the things I personally cannot change. Now I can use my mind to stop obsessing over that and to focus on, but what can I change? What can I show up for? What is in my personal control right now? Some of what I can change are my personal thoughts. I can consciously choose every day to cultivate the thoughts that are going to serve me and to focus on those. I can consciously choose, if I am so lucky and blessed to have an online business right now and to have a service-based business in the online space that people need and are actively seeking and buying right now. I said this yesterday, but for those of you who missed it, I will repeat it because I think it's just helpful to hear. We are so lucky as online entrepreneurs in the online space who are service providers. People are actively seeking your services right now. The majority of my clients are, their business is going up. They're having more discovery calls than ever. They're booking more clients than ever. And I said this yesterday, but at every price point, from my clients who are just starting out and booking their first clients ever at, those the prices that fit where they're at in business. Two, I have clients who've been in business longer who have contracts that are 25K. Those are getting booked as well. And so I want to make sure I'm letting you know this is possible. But for that to be possible, you have to manage your mind so that you can manage your business and show up in it. We have to have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change. Acceptance is a bitch, y'all. I know that, but so that we can show up to change the things we can. To change the things we can means, what do you need to adapt in your business? What are the things you can adapt in your business right now? Do you need to change your messaging? Do you need to change the way you're showing up? What is your audience, what do your clients need from you right now? Do you need to change the way you're showing up so that you can serve your clients and your audience at a deeper level? The things you can change, your thoughts and what you're showing up for. And so if you can have that first piece, that acceptance, it's going to allow you then to show up in your business in such a different way. And that last piece is, and the wisdom to know the difference. And this is so important here because we really, as human, it's such a human self-protection. It's so part of our wiring. We want to obsess over the things we cannot change because we think it is a way we can stay safe. We think it is a way we can stay safe, and really what it does is it keeps us in our comfort zone because we're feeling safe, and it keeps us from changing the things we can. Like I said, most of us have the serenity prayer right now flip-flopped. We are obsessing over the things we cannot change, and because of that, we are unable to focus on and show up for the things we can change, and we need to reverse this. Let me know if this is making sense. With that, the second part here that I find really, really powerful for that resilience that allows you to manage your mind, if we are going to lean into acceptance, is also to practice and cultivate our detachment. Now, detachment is a mindfuck, and I understand that, and it does not make sense rationally, I think, when we think about acceptance. You want me to accept this, Kim, and to detach. What does that even mean? And so let's talk about detachment for a second, and I think this is, again, this is a now conversation, and this is 6 years from now, whatever is going on in the world, whatever is going on in your business, this is a then conversation. Accept and detach are such powerful mindsets to manage your mind, to manage your business. And I promise you, if you can lean into these, you will see better results in your business. It is just the rule. What detachment means is we are letting go of that grasp we have, that control over the things we can't change. It's the serenity prayer, right? What a lot of us do comes from fear. I was going to say fiercity. That's a new word I just made up. Fiercity, y'all. Fear is scarcity and fear mashed together. Fiercity. Let's coin it. New word. When we're in fiercity, when we're in fear, when we're in scarcity, when we're in lack, when we're really worried about the future, when we think we're going to fail, when global pandemics are happening, we're in fiercity. New word. What that usually has us do, again, is get into this controlling mode, trying to control the things we cannot change, and we get very graspy. We get very desperate. We get very, with our work, I need to book a client. I need to control this situation. I need to be safe. I need to be able to go outside and do the things I cannot do. I need. I'm graspy. What happens when we're graspy? That repels and pushes away everything we want to bring in. I use the dating example all the time, but I think it's just such a great one to see this. If anyone has ever dated someone who's super needy and super desperate, what is it? I know I've talked about this before, but what does that have you do? I mean, it makes you like, we lean way back, we lean away, it repels us. When someone isn't uncaring, but when they are accepting of whatever the situation is and they're detached, meaning they're detached from the outcome. They're not trying to control you. They're not trying to force it. They're not desperate. They're not like, I need this to happen and I need to try to force you into a square hole or whatever the saying is there. It is so much easier to want to lean in and be with the person, and it is very attracting. And so if we can, and this is a very resilient mindset because it is not the easiest thing to do. If we can cultivate acceptance for what we cannot control and lean into having the wisdom and showing up for the things we can, change, not control, and then detach from the outcome. Meaning, if we can practice detaching from, I need what's happening in the world to be a certain way tomorrow. I need what's happening in my business to happen for me right now. I need. If we can detach from that, It is going to allow you to manage your mind, to get out of the me, wrapped around all this fiercity mindset, and show up from a neutral place to show up and market and sell and serve your clients. And the irony is, the more you can accept and detach, the more you are going to attract the things you want. I promise you, it happens every single time. And it is a really, I think the thing with detachment that is a little bit of a mind fuck is it makes us think like, oh, I'm supposed to not care, or like, what does that mean? Like, I'm detached, I'm not caring. It's not that we don't care. We're accepting what's going on. We are then able to manage our mind and lean into belief of what is possible. Of course it's possible. We're leaning into the second part of the serenity prayer. What can I change? What I can change are my thoughts. What I can change is how I show up in my business. My thoughts are going to say, I absolutely believe I can show up in my business every day. I absolutely believe I can market. I absolutely believe I can be of service. I absolutely believe I can book clients, make money, be of service, and have this be a beautiful time in my business where I thrive and I lead and I show up for myself and for others. I can cultivate that mindset, and these are things I can change, and then I can just detach from needing that to happen right now, because that's when we get into fiercity. You guys, I am rolling with this word. I need the coffee all this morning. I'm not a morning person at all, so my voice is always a little, I get up at 6:30, but I'm not usually talking to clients until 9, so my voice needs the coffee. Who else are my coffee drinkers? I always like to know coffee, tea drinkers. No shame if you like the tea instead of the coffee. I need my coffee. All right, so let me know if that's making sense. That first mindset for resilience, that acceptance, that detachment, leaning into that serenity prayer, and really leaning into the wisdom of what can I change, what can I not change, how can I accept that, and then how can I lean into that detachment. Megan says, I absolutely believe I can book clients. I absolutely believe I can book clients. I absolutely believe you can book clients. Heck, fuck yes. And for all of you, and again, I just want to say this again because this feels important. I am not being unaware of what's going on. I know what is going on in our world. I am accepting that. That's where this acceptance piece comes in. And then for us having this conversation as online entrepreneurs in the service-based space, this is where I just want to remind everyone, we can accept that, and we can have compassion, and we can be so damn grateful that we are in a position to be of service and show up and make money right now. We are fucking lucky. And I know we talked about this, I think yesterday on the training I did last week. That does not mean because other people can't right now that you can't. It's not like by being a martyr, you somehow help someone else out. The best way you can help others right now is by taking care of yourself, by serving others, and by making money so you can pour it back into the economy. I know I'm off on a tangent, I said this before, but it feels really important in context of this conversation. You not making money doesn't help someone else make money. You not showing up in your business doesn't help someone else's business. The best way you can help others is to serve them and to sell. It's just the truth. Megan says, love fiercity as a word. Yay, let's coin it. Let's make this a word. I'm making up words today. Okay, so again, just that reminder that our brains right now, they want to future trip. Our brain's wired to look for problems. So when scary things are going on, it wants to future trip. We're gonna talk about this more tomorrow, but it wants to future trip. It wants to look for worry. It wants to try to control the situation. The more you can accept and detach from what you can't control and focus on what you can, the more resilient you're going to be, the more you're going to be able to manage your mind, the more you're going to be able to manage your business, the more money you will make right now, period. End of story. Which I always like to use the Chinese finger trap example. I think that's a great example here, and then we'll move on to the second point. I've used this, it applies to so many things, y'all, but you know the Chinese finger traps, you put your fingers in, they're like those little paper toys, and you put your fingers in them. What happens with those when you try to struggle with it? It gets really tight, right? And your fingers get stuck inside. What happens when you accept that you are in the finger trap and you detach from trying to control the situation and you just chill out a little? It loosens up and you can move your fingers out. And then you can actually have control over the situation. I think that's just maybe something like a mental construct here to help understand detachment and acceptance. And again, so it doesn't mean we don't want to move our fingers from the trap. It doesn't mean you don't want to book clients right now. It doesn't mean we don't want this to end right now. We can absolutely want that, but we're going to accept and detach. Okay. I'm hitting you all over the head with this. That is the coffee talking. All right. So the second one here that feels really important, this again was something that really helped me when I was moving through the grief process and moving through supporting my family and being with my dad, and really helped me, quite honestly, I think I moved through it in such a way that was really beautiful, and I have no regrets, and I feel like I was very present and able to show up every day and show up for my clients and show up for my business and show up for myself. And I think it's absolutely applicable here, is the idea that the only way out is through, and the only way through is one day at a time, which is also very AA related. So what I mean by the first part of this is the only way out is through. What I find happens when we're not leaning into the resiliency that we all have, and what happens so often when we're in challenging situations, is we start to look outside ourselves and we start to look for the magic button, the easy pill, the secret, the way that we can go around. It's sort of like, here is this wall, and it's like, can I climb over it? Can I go around it? Can I search on the internet for all the worry things, and is there a solution? If I'm stressing about my business, this is so applicable to business, not just our current situation. Can I Google enough and I know there must be a secret that someone's hiding from me? Can I look for it? Can I look for it? Can I look for it? There's such a human want to think that if I can just find, there is a secret way that I can get around this. There is some magic pill I can take, and it's like, poof, I'm just gonna get to circumvent this. What that has us do is looking for magic pills, but it also has us tending to buffer, and buffering is basically avoiding in an unhealthy way. It's kind of like the layman's way to describe it. That's when we're reaching for the booze. That's when we're wanting to sleep the days away. That's when we're like, well, maybe if I just bury my head in the sand, or maybe I just won't work on my business for the next 3 months, or I'm just gonna watch Netflix all day long. No shame in watching Netflix. But when we're using it as a way to I just want to figure out the way that I cannot go through this, I'm just gonna somehow try to get around this, that's when we start getting into self-sabotaging behaviors. We're not managing our mind, and we're definitely not managing our business from an effective place, and we're not showing up presently for ourselves, for our clients, for our business. And so I know it's not always the thing we want to hear, but the best way out, any challenging situation, the best way out is through. And so right now, we're all in this together. The way we're going to get out of it is by going through it. The way we're going to have a really hard time getting out of this, the way it's going to be really challenging 6 months after this, is if we're not going through it, and we're not taking it one day at a time, and we're trying to avoid, and we're trying to buffer, we're avoiding all the processing in real time and not being present with it. That's what's going to make it really challenging every single day, and that's what's going to make it really challenging on the other side. We are going to get through this 100%. I have no idea how long. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I have no idea how challenging it's going to be. I get that it's challenging, but we will get through this. We as humans, in general, we are resilient. We are so fucking resilient, y'all. And as entrepreneurs, that is part of your makeup. You are a resilient motherfucker. Excuse my French, but it's that's what you are if you're an entrepreneur, if you are showing up right now. And so I think the thing we have to remember is this is part of our DNA. And then as humans, we also have this want to avoid shit. And that, the more you avoid and the more you try to go around this, the more it's going to feel challenging now, and the more you're going to have challenges afterwards. It's kind of if we compare this to grief, the more you can move through the grief process in real time and move through it, that's fine, that's normal. The more you can process and get to acceptance, the more you try to avoid, the more you get stuck in the first step, which is denial. And then the more on the other side, when we're out this on the other side, the more you're going to find you have a lot of problems in your business, and that you have, if you're still showing up for your business, and you're going to, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but just in a very realistic way, and the more you're going to have self-sabotaging habits that have formed that are affecting your personal life and your business. And I say this not to freak anyone out, but as this is just what we do as humans. And so if we can remember, the best way out is through. Always, in every situation. It's sort of if we think about that wall, usually there's a door. If you can find the door and move through the door, that is the easiest way through any situation. If you think about, I think relationships are just so applicable to challenging times, and they're applicable to our business. I don't know if anyone's ever been through a hard breakup or, challenging time in a relationship. If you've had a hard breakup, the easiest way to move through the emotions of that and to move through the grief process of that and to move through to the other side to where you feel good again and you're able to date is to go through it. The hardest and challenging way is to resist it and to try to go around it and to try to deny it and to be that, said with love, crazy person who's continually calling, up the ex or drowning in the pint of ice cream and booze. Right? Does that make sense as an example, as an analogy? The best way out is through, and the best way through is one day at a time. I have yet to create a magic time machine. I don't know any other way through things but one day at a time. And they talk about this in AA, and I know it's so cliche, and I know in some ways this is almost like, yes, Kim, this is really basic, but y'all, the basic stuff works. The basic stuff is what we always come back to. The basic stuff works, and it works when we work it. That's like the AA, very AA today, but that is the, it works if you work is the AA mantra. Mindset works if you work it. It's not complicated. Mindset work isn't complicated. The thing with mindset work, the thing with managing your mind, the thing with moving through this one day at a time is you have to work it one day at a time, and you have to work it every day. And it's always the basic stuff. It's the same thing in business, y'all. Managing your business strategy, usually pretty simple. The simpler you can make your business, the simpler you can make your strategy, the more it's going to work. The reason it doesn't work for so many people is they don't work it one day at a time. They don't work it until it works. So going back to one day at a time here, there is no way we're gonna jump to a month from now or 3 months from now or to the end of this unless we move through it one day at a time. And the most, I think, powerful way to manage your mind and to have and form the resiliency is every single day to start each day over and to treat it one day at a time. And I'm gonna give you some journaling prompts and some thoughts here that I think can be really, really helpful that I made note for you, because this is something, if every day when you wake up, you can say, this is a new day, I just need to move through today. I do not need to move through a month from now because I am not there yet. And tomorrow we're going to talk about looking at the future a little bit, because yes, absolutely, I'm all about, thinking about the future and stepping into the future. And it's really important that we are being present, and especially in challenging times, and looking at each day and taking it one day at a time. And so I think some questions that can be really powerful is each day, waking up and choosing, how do I want to feel today? What do I want to think today, and how do I want to feel today? Just today, not tomorrow, not 3 days from now, today. What do I want to think today? What do I want to believe today? What do I want to feel today? Can I take this one day at a time? Can I cultivate this mindset, manage my mind? What do I want to think today? What do I want to believe today? How do I want to show up in my business today? This is where it really gets into the business. How do I want to show up into my business today? This is something my mentor in my mastermind asks us a lot. What do I need today? What does my business need today? This is a really great way to check in each day. Instead of, again, we want to just future trip, and we want to wrap it around the things we can't control. Today, what do I need today? What does my business need today? And then, what do my clients need today? What does my audience need today? Taking this one day at a time, but taking the time to consciously get clear on these things so that we're managing our mind and we're consciously choosing to show up for these things. Because again, it's so easy to wrap around the fear, the scarcity, all the worry thoughts, to wrap around, this isn't gonna work, my business is gonna fail, I'm not gonna make money, right? The world, all of the worry thoughts, the news, all the things that are happening versus today. How can I have the serenity to accept the things I cannot change? How can I have the courage to, I always get this wrong. How can I have the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference? So what are the things today I can change? What are the things today I can show up for? What are the things today I can control? One of them is my mind. What am I going to choose to think and believe today? A mindset practice that I sometimes give clients that I don't know where I picked this up, y'all, but it is one of my favorites, and I think it's a really powerful one right now, is writing out each day why today is going to be the best day ever. And the reason I think that's particularly powerful right now is it helps you to focus on one day at a time and moving through this one day at a time, but it allows you to focus on, even in challenging times, I can be resilient, and the things I can change are my thoughts. And what I can choose to think is I can still choose to have the best day today, even in the midst of what's going on, even in the midst of challenging times. And so it's one of my favorites. I think it's really fun. Right now, today is going to be the best day ever. And then writing out why your day is the best day ever. Because this way you are consciously choosing and making decisions for your day, which is also going to allow you to take this one day at a time. And again, what we focus on expands. I can still choose in New York City, in the midst of what's going on, running a business, supporting clients, being in a New York City apartment, I can still choose to have the best day today. And today is going to be the best day. I know that, but I know that because I already decided and chose one of the things I can change are my thoughts. And one of the things I decided to choose this morning was that today was going to be the best day. So that's a mindset practice you can borrow that I think is always powerful, but particularly right now. And then again, also as we're choosing how to move through each day, remembering taking this one day at a time, that means for your business as well. It's so easy to borrow, we'll talk about this more tomorrow, but it's so easy to borrow trouble from the future that hasn't happened yet. I really want you to borrow from what can I control today? What can I show up for today? And how can I every day choose to take this one day at a time? And how can I then tomorrow choose to take this one day at a time? And then how can I work what I know works during those days? What I know works is mindset work and managing our mind, always. It's not our circumstances that control our situation, it's our mindset. And what I know I can change is how I show up for my audience, for my clients, for my business. Okay, let me know if that one makes sense. Again, I know some of this is this isn't like rocket science. These are pretty basic concepts. It is so easy to lose the basic concepts in challenging times. Again, because what do we want to do? We don't want to go through it. We want to go around it. We want the magic pill. We want to find the secret. We want to find there's someone online who knows a way to get around this and to avoid this without turning into, without buffering. The secret is the simple stuff works. The secret is it's all up here. The secret is manage your mind to manage your business. The secret is there is no secret. And if there was, it's all about you and that internal versus internal first to manage the external. Let me know if that's making sense. And then we're gonna go to the third one. And I have to mind the clock because I have a client call. So I cannot be too long-winded today. All right, so the third one here that I find really helps with resiliency, I think it's a really powerful mindset. It is also one of the 4 pillars of business that I believe we think about our business foundation and what supports our business. We think about 4 pillars supporting a business. This is one of the 4 pillars I believe is not talked about enough. And I think it is so crucial, and it has so much to do with running your business, managing your business, and making money. And that is focusing on serving others. And so why this helps you manage your mind and why this helps with your resiliency, let me talk about that a little bit. When we're in freak out mode, when we're stressed, what do? Focus on me. I'm so worried. These are all the things that are going to happen to me. This is how it's affecting me. These are all my complaints. All the me's, right? We get into a little bit of said with love. We get a little bit into that victim mindset. One of the great ways to build and strengthen your resiliency, one of the greatest ways to focus on one day at a time, one of the greatest ways to manage your mind and to move through this is to stop focusing on me, and all of the victimization it's just part of being a human. I think that we just naturally want to lean into is to stop focusing on yourself so much and start focusing on how can I serve others? Who is there out there that I can serve? And what's great about this is it helps shift your mindset off of woe is me, here are all my problems, here are all the ways my life sucks, versus I am so damn lucky and so blessed and so grateful because I'm literally okay right now. And you don't have to say it that way, but leaning into that gratitude. And so because I am so lucky, because I am so grateful, because I have so much to be grateful for, because I'm managing my mind and I can show up my business, how can I now focus on serving others? Focusing on serving others puts you into action, and that puts you into your resiliency instead of, again, getting into that victim mindset, which keeps us really stuck and immobile. The beautiful thing about focusing on others too is it is really hard to think about all of your bullshit when you're focused on serving other people. I think one of the gifts I had when I was, and I'm using this example a lot because I think it's not the same situation by any means, but it's just applicable in moving through challenging times while also managing your business. I think one of the gifts I had while supporting my dad for the last year when he was, going through treatment with cancer, and then when he was passing, one of the things that helped me to be so present with him is stop thinking about myself And how can I serve my dad? How can I be present with him? One of the things that also helped me to be really present in my business and to manage my mind and manage my business is stop thinking about me and think about my clients. What do my clients need? How can I serve my clients even deeper? How can I serve my audience even deeper? And it was a really powerful way for me to move through absolutely processing and accepting, but realizing there are all these people that I can serve. I can stop like worrying about my own BS because I'm fine. I'm actually like in this situation, I'm actually the one who's okay right now. And with my dad, like how can I focus on service? And so I really think that helps you to get outside of your own BS a little bit. And I say BS with love, but just the BS our brain wants to hand us, and really step into like, what are the things I can change? Some of the things I can change are the ways I can be of service. And it really helps you to manage your business because here's the thing, principles of business don't change in challenging times. Being of service and sharing value, like cultivating those relationships, being of service and being of value, like that is always going to serve your business. It's always going to serve others, and it is always directly going to impact your business. If you want to make more money and you want to book more clients right now, serve more people. Show up and give more value, serve more people. Period. Like, yes, you have to sell with that, and yes, you have to like market and have messaging, but like at the core of it, like manage your mind so that you can be a leader and show up and serve and deliver more value. That is going to directly impact your bottom line. Like, I can tie the income in my business to the amount I am serving. Serve your clients deeper. Serve your audience deeper. Serve your people deeper. You want to know the secret? Like, that is the secret. There is no secret, and that's the secret. And the beauty of it is when we're serving others, when we're focused on serving others, to be able to do that, we first have to manage our mind. We first have to check in with our own stuff and get out of that victim mindset and realize, I am okay. I am okay right now. I am so blessed. I am so lucky. I am inherently okay. Because I am inherently okay, because I'm going back to step one, I have the, serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and I have the courage to show up for. I have the resilience to show up for the things I can. One of the things I can change is the amount of service I am delivering. Now, yesterday we talked about, as heart-centered people, there's a want to overgive and not take care of ourselves. That's not what I'm talking about here. I am not saying serve and give to the point of depletion. I am not saying serve as a way to avoid. I am not saying give, and don't sell. I am not saying give to the point of not filling yourself up, not taking care of yourself. I am not saying using service as a new way to buffer and to avoid what you're going through. Not at all what we're talking about. What I am saying is, can we use the things we're talking about today? Acceptance, detachment, moving through this, taking this one day at a time. What we were talking about yesterday, having and cultivating some of that gratitude, realizing you are inherently okay. If you're watching this right now, you are inherently okay. And you are so lucky and blessed to have a business you can show up for. So can we accept that so that we can show up and serve more? And by serving more, what you're going to start to do is to build up your resilience. You are going to start stepping outside of your own worry thoughts, your own BS, all of the victim stories we want to give ourselves. Can I show up and serve a little more? And through this, it's going to be a way you're able to manage your business. And I promise it will affect in a positive way, your business. It's going to, it's a beautiful thing. Like, what is more beautiful than service? If you're here, you're heart-centered and you're a service-based business owner. So it's such a beautiful thing. And the more you show up and serve, and again, not from a place of burnout, really want to be clear, we are not using this as a new way to escape our feelings. Like, I'm just going to bottle my feelings up and like serve. Not what we're talking about. But can I take the focus off of all of the muck my brain wants to give me? I always think of it as like a fly swatter. I think sometimes in our mind, like sometimes there are things we need to process and absolutely feel the feels. And sometimes our brain is handing us BS that it's like a fly swatter. It's like, I don't need to listen to you right now. I'm like just going to swat these thoughts away. I don't need to engage with these thoughts right now. They are not serving me. They are just my brain wanting to get into a victim mindset and essentially keep me stuck and pull me down because that feels more comfortable right now. Not going to do anything with the thoughts, but can I just swat them away? And one of the easiest ways to swat them away is to then take our focus on something else. Can I focus on service instead? Can I focus on serving my audience, serving my clients, serving on an even deeper level? I promise you that is a really beautiful way to help build up your resilience and to help you move through this one day at a time. If we think about challenging times in history, I mean, the people who come through that quite beautifully are usually the people who are showing up to serve. I have a cousin who's a nurse in New York City. I mean, talk about like the things we could think are super scary. He's moving, it's a male cousin of mine, he's married to my cousin, so what do you call that, like a cousin-in-law? He's moving through this beautifully. Part of that, I believe, is because he has a purpose to show up for service. He is literally showing up to a hospital every day through this, being of service, and I think that is helping him step out of himself, get out of what the brain wants to do, to fly swat those thoughts that want to pull us down. And he's really focused on, how can I serve others? And it stops making it all about us and the negative thoughts our brain wants to give us. It allows us to, this is my fly swatter, y'all. It doesn't really look like a fly swatter, but that's what that is. So let me know if that makes sense. Again, I'm not saying that you need to not process. Like if you're having, I know I have a few clients who this is kicking up some traumatic, it's triggering some trauma. Like if that's happening, absolutely process your emotions. We talked about this on last week's training. So if you're catching this today, you've missed a few things. Like absolutely process your emotions, feel your feels. There are no bad emotions. That is not what I'm saying. And once you have processed, once you are in the place of acceptance, your brain is going to want to, your brain's wired to see negative events 3-1. Your brain right now is wired to look for problems, to turn on the news and to just keep feeding more negativity because it's a self-protection mechanism. That is what your brain is naturally wired to do if you're not consciously choosing something different. And so just know that is what your brain is designed to do. Right now, it just wants to feed you negative, 3-1. And so our job is to fly swat the negative, and actively cultivate the positive. We have to actively seek that out. We are not naturally wired to do that. That is why the mindset work is so important. Like triple down on your mindset work right now. That is why, talking about that exercise I gave you, like cultivating how could today, like today is going to be the best day ever, is so important. We have to put the positive, we have to tip the scale consciously, because subconsciously our brain 3-1 will tip negative to positive. And so being of service is just one way we can start to put the earmuffs on for the negative the brain just naturally wants to give us, not because there's reality in it, not because there's even, sometimes there's nothing to process. Sometimes it is just the brain wanting to throw a bunch of negative shit at you. And so sometimes service is the way, instead of like, I just need to be positive right now, let me try to like positive my way through this. Sometimes that's not available to us. And so being of service is the way through, one day at a time. All right, so those are my 3 tips for you today that hopefully you will borrow, that will allow you to cultivate more resilience so that you can manage your mind, so that you can manage your business. Just as a reminder, the first one is lean into that serenity prayer so you can have that acceptance and that detachment. The second one there is the only way out is through. Take this one day at a time. And the third one here is lean into service so that you can fly spot the negative your brain naturally wants to hand you and focus on others instead of yourself. Not from a place of buffering or burning out, from that place of service. It's really going to help you to cultivate some of that resilience in a time when sometimes reaching for the next positive thought isn't always available to you. So I hope that's helpful for you. I will be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. We'll have the third day. I have some more tips, tools that I'll be sharing with you tomorrow at 8 a.m. right here in the Facebook group. If you're watching on the replay, if you have questions for me, reflections, please share them. And then a reminder, if you would like support managing your mind, navigating what's going on now and always in your business, and support with your marketing and your sales so that you can build, grow, scale a business that you are wildly in love with, that makes you money now through this time, but always, that is what I do. That is what I'm incredibly good at. I support my clients. They get epic results. We have a lot of fun. I adore them. I love them. I have very limited availability. I have one one-on-one coaching spot opening up in April. So one spot that I'm opening up, book a discovery call with me, and then I am opening up a mini mastermind, which is a 2-person mastermind. So it's essentially one-on-one coaching with 2 people. I have one spot left in that, so for April. So I will drop some links for that. The mini mastermind, you have to book a call with me because it's very essential to me. I find a good match for the other person in that mini mastermind. So please book a call with me. We can chat more about if it's a fit for you and to make sure you are a match for the other person. Again, one spot for each, and then we'll be on a wait list for May. So still book a call with me either way, because if you want to work with me, I want to get you in as soon as possible. And then I'll be back tomorrow. I'll hang out with you then. Take care of yourselves. be socially responsible, take care of others, be of service, manage your mind. I love you all so much, and thanks for hanging out with me.